Hey everybody, TDM Tim here, and this is day 5 of the itch.io weekly game jam 29. Now, as you have seen from the past couple of days, my progress, although slow, has been actually getting somewhere on Tube Fighter, the tubening. And today, it will be mainly a focus of finishing combat. So the enemies need to properly rotate towards your direction when facing you. I need a spawning system so that there's always a few of them on the screen, and perhaps over time it gets larger. I've also had some ideas given to me by some good friends on other ways I can bring difficulty in without rapidly changing the game or adding a ton of new concepts, which I'll look towards implementing. And after that, today should be the last day that I do, I'm not going to say programming in general, but today should be the last day that I implement new things. After this, it will just be polish, 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 polish. I'll be looking to make things look a little nicer. I don't think I'll be adding textures because I'm not good with textures and do not have enough time to learn that skill, at least in its basic form. So I think I'll just be adding some sort of material to the enemies and to you so that you can recognize the difference. Obviously you're in charge of one, but it's still good to have graphical representation. Some sort of response, more visual feedback than just the nudge for when you damage an enemy. As well, I want a little design to the arena. I don't just want it to be a plane. Perhaps, like I said, there will be tubes, either that A, the enemies spawn out of, or B, I'll just add tubes as like a little bit of scenery, a little bit of an obstacle or two that you have to move around, or the enemy has to move around. Hopefully my enemy movement script doesn't just cause them to ram into those obstacles if I add them. We'll see how that goes. But I'm hoping today will be a very productive day. You know, I've had a good breakfast. I took care of my plants this morning. I got a shower. I'm all ready to go. I don't have to work till later tonight, so I can start today on programming. So let's get to it and see what we get accomplished on day 5. So today has been quite the day for productivity and development in this game. That is for sure. I have developed code to rotate the enemy towards you. I've as well added a component for spawning all of the enemies, knowing how many enemies are on the screen, eventually increasing how many enemies are coming at you, and I've better perfected the collider so that you can't just damage them from A, running into them, and B, doing one hit and it registering as 3 or 4. So let me go ahead and show you what I've accomplished. I've also done a little bit with post-processing, but I'll probably toss that out because there's not really much to the scene currently. So as you see, we've got this guy. He rotates towards you. You hit him once, twice, 3 times, dead. Boom. And then if we get through a couple of these guys, I think it's 3 that I currently have it set to. 3 or 4, one or the other. Get through a couple of them, although let me demonstrate something else real quick. There's a little bit of a physics. You can kind of ride on top of the guy because of how I'm doing the enemy movement towards you. I'll have to see if I can work that out before it releases. So it's not 3, it's 4. Let's see, after this one we should have 3 more spawn instead of 1, 2, 3. Boom. And from here on out, after you go through, I think it's 6 of these guys, it will increase to 5 spawning at once, and so forth and so forth. So I'm very glad, I'm very proud of what I've done actually so far today. There will have to be a little more polish when it comes to enemy movement and when it comes to swinging, because it's not quite perfect. Not every time that you click the left mouse button does the player actually swing, but I will get towards that. I'll also get towards, I want them to spawn out of a tube. I think I've settled on that thanks to a couple friends. So I want them to spawn out of a tube. Then at that point, it will just be balancing the game so it's a little more enjoyable. I think I'm going to speed up everything. As well, it will be adding a little bit of polish. So I want to, tomorrow I'm going to focus on writing some music for the game, some sound effects. You know, I want a grunt maybe when they get hit, or maybe from you when you're swinging. I also want maybe a death sound so that it's a little more confirmation what you're doing. So you have the sound for when you hit someone, and then you have a sound for when they die, so it's some feedback, the feedback loops that are highly important to games. Also, if I could come to understand this post-processing stack, I doubt I will have much in the scene that really gets affected by it, but I have a little bit of color grading and a little bit of vignette added, so you can see the difference without the color grading or the vignette. And I don't know, I kind of like the way it does, kind of pops it out a little bit more. I've added just basic materials to these guys. You can see my beautiful modeling here because the inside of the pipe is empty. Congratulations, you don't understand Blender yet. But oh well. So, I'm very proud of what I've done today. I've got to do a little bit of Uber. Once I get a couple hours of work done there, I should come back just a little more tweaking, and then I think from there we'll call it a day, maybe another hour or two. So I think I might actually have something to publish for the end of this week, which is I am very proud about. This will be the first game I've ever gotten out, and you guys have seen my journey of creating my first game. Well, I'll see you all in a few hours. Well guys, we're coming to the end of day 5. I've only really got one more day, seeing as how I have to upload the game before 12 o'clock in the afternoon, I believe, on Thursday. So really tomorrow is the last day for me to do any work, since I need to compile the final build at the end of the day. So with that being said, I have implemented one more feature in the little bit of time I had after I did Uber. And now the enemies can actually attack. It's a little bit randomized. First off, they won't try to attack if you are a distance away, so they're not just constantly swinging. And also there's a 2 in 3 chance, a 2/3 chance that the enemies will actually swing when you are within range, so they're just not constantly trying to spam swing you. And you can also take damage. Boom, you could die. Now, exactly to reframe what I will be doing for tomorrow, really, is polishing this combat so that it's actually fun to play, and so that to some degree you don't just die very quickly, because currently it is pretty easy for them to get some hits on you. I think I didn't get hit with that guy, but at the same time it's still pretty easy. And I also have to work on swinging, have to perfect swinging so that you always swing when you press the left mouse button, because currently it is possible for you to press the left mouse button and to not swing. I think it has something to do with the way the animations are working. I think I just took some damage there. We got 3 more guys coming in. We'll see. Boom. There. I die. So, like I said, tomorrow we'll be making the combat a little more fun, a little more engageable, probably speeding up the combat too, because I believe a faster paced game would be needed here since there's not a lot to it. As well, it will be making a little bit of a decoration, like I said, a tube that I want these guys to spawn out of, walls in the arena, so it's not just an infinite plane, or not infinite plane, but it's not just a plane that goes on for a long distance. And that'll be basically it. Adding some music. I want to make a theme song. There will also obviously need to be a menu and some way to play again after you die. Adding some music, like I said, adding a couple sound effects here, there, grunt, stuff like that. And just basically polishing the game will be tomorrow. My schedule has definitely changed drastically throughout this. I've learned a lot about time management. I've learned quite a few things, and I can't wait for my next game jam. Thank you all for the support that you have given me. As usual, like, subscribe, check out Techedelicminds.com. We always got new content coming out now. And have a great day, night, whatever it may be. I'll be seeing you soon for day 6, the final day of development.